Guys, I'm looking around on the floor, and these are all like highly like encouraging and like kind of tasks, if you want to call it that's really difficult, I must say. I mean, reading some of these words, I'm looking at it and I'm like, geez, I need to learn some of these things. So I was thinking this morning now, what can I add to these? And these are things I'm still struggling with and trying to do. And I'm going to try to keep it down to 5 things. And I want you to repeat it after me, just so that we can kind of remember it. So the first one is, I heard someone say, and these are just lessons I've kind of learned, but I want to take forward as well. So the first one is adaptability. So I know someone said fixed mindset. But I'd rather say maybe on the other side, adaptability, because a lot of the times, and this relates to the next one, is maybe the way we grew up in our family structure, in our community. There's a certain way we need to act or behave, and then so the point is, if you come into another environment, that might not be the best way to act or behave, and so there you need to adapt. That's number one. And then kind of related to that is, guys, I'm putting you on a kind of, I'm going on the other end of this spectrum here, in a sense of, it's okay not to know, it's okay not to be kind of like overconfident and overzealous, because that's kind of also where kind of it all starts, if that makes sense. And related to that is the point of kind of, and this is hard, I'm going to tell you this is hard, to question yourself. Because some of the first thoughts that come to our mind, like as a history, or like kind of like it's based on what we were brought up in, and so they kind of like, if something comes to your mind, kind of, again, this is hard, guys. I'm telling you, it's kind of like it's your first response. If that makes sense. But you kind of need to overcome that first response. Does that make sense? So what have we kind of went through now? We went through adaptability and then questioning yourself. The next one is process, which again, it relates to the other two. A lot of these kind of points on the floor are outcomes, if that makes sense. But it's hard, for argument's sake, to do. I'm pointing to one that I'm a specialist in, exercise and physical activity. That's an outcome, but it's hard to exercise and stay physically active. Which brings me process, which brings me to the next one. So we've done adaptability, questioning yourself, / critical thinking, process, which brings the next one, guys. And this is probably the most important one you guys need to remember today, is consistency. Consistent. Every day do the little bit. Someone pointed out the kind of like the kind of negativity about social media, and sometimes social media kind of only puts out someone there that's, oh, look at me, I've done well, oh, look at me, I'm this. But that's not the goal, guys. The goal is not the outcomes here. That's the everyday. So if you see a SIA, if you see a JP, and if you speak to any of ambassadors like that, they will tell you it was the everyday. Michael Jordan, for argument's sake, again, most celebrated athlete, but he will tell you he was Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock on the court throwing balls at the hoop. And so the point here, guys, we have goals. We want to reach university. We want to achieve certain degrees. But that's fine to have. But where does it start? It literally starts at opening the book and studying, so that you can get good marks at the end of the day. Those are the 4 things, guys. Can we just repeat it quickly? Adaptability, consistency. Guys, and again, those things that will feed into all of these every day. The robustness, the tranquility that we must have. What was the other one? The mastery. You don't become a master. No one wakes up, I'm a master. Every master will tell you. That's the everyday. There's 2 last things I want to kind of relate to that. It's basically a quote I try to live by now. Carry wood, chop water. Does anyone know what that means? What kind of can mean? Carry wood, chop water. Sorry, chop wood, carry water. And it just points to every day. So every day, and I'm using school as the example here. Just a little bit every day study, a little every day read, just a little every day, and then ultimately you do well in the exams, you do well in your tests, and then the outcomes come. So the point is, don't worry about the outcomes. Make sure that your consistency and your habits are there. Again, just pointing, because it's right in front of me, the exercise. Everyone would say you must exercise. You know what I mean? It's good for your health and that. But the point is, after school every day, you run for 20 minutes. I'm just using running as an example. That's consistency. And then over time, over a week, you'll have like a few hours worth of running in. This is the last point I'm going to make, because I get carried away with these things. I come from a science background, and I promote science wherever I go. Can I ask in this room, who wants to be a scientist? No one. Guys, then I'm going to encourage you to think of a career in science. I know you guys are grade 9 now. And so you still have a lot of time to think about what you want. But what we need as a country, what we need as the world, as a globe, we need more scientists. At the end of the day, for argument's sake, let's use COVID as an example. We still, obviously, there's still a risk of COVID, but who was the first kind of group of people that when COVID broke out, who did they turn to? Scientists. And I don't know if you know this, but the scientists who made some breakthrough research when it came to COVID were South African scientists, scientists from UCT. And so, and from UWC, I think I must mention UWC also. But the point is, look into a career of science, because science, well, the point of science is to critically think. There's a question, there's a problem in the world, and we need to solve it. And that's my last point. And also, I forgot to mention when I start, I'd like to introduce you to my balloon called Hendricks, and he's my son. Thank you.